When you are living off-grid, what exactly do you do with all of that number 2? Welcome to the Hippie Geeks. Let's talk about how we deal with the inevitable byproduct of eating, which is something that everyone living off-grid is going to have to figure out sooner rather than later. This is the latest version of how we deal with the need to do something with our poo, and as you can see, this one is still in need of some more work. It is a simple structure that keeps us dry while we are taking care of business, with enough privacy for a family of 3, but not enough for most strangers. But this is all that we happen to need for now. This is made mostly from leftover materials, and its only downside is the fact that the hurricane winds were coming directly into the doorway, which is why we will probably be building something slightly different in a different place up here, but for now this is working as well as I hoped it would, and it only took me a couple of hours to assemble. You can see the clear tarp roof that it has, and this is going to be replaced with corrugated metal panels soon. We are using a tapestry as a door that can be clipped out of the way, and then inside of the structure there are only a few things to look at. From this angle you can see our bucket of holding with the best bucket toilet lid that we have been able to find, and it has a biodegradable bag inside of it. Whenever you are going to try to compost your poo into Humanure, you are going to need some kind of media to cover it with. Some folks use sawdust or straw, but we use peat moss and cedar shavings. These will both help to keep smells to a minimum in the bucket, and when they all break down together later in the process, they will eventually turn into some amazing fertilizer. We buy the peat moss at our local Ace Hardware, and the cedar shavings come from Walmart. You can see here the biodegradable wipes that we are using for cleaning up, and these are about the best option that I was able to find on Amazon. We don't know just how well either the bucket bags or these wipes are going to break down over time, but we will eventually be able to check once all of this composts for a year. This is our backup lid that we keep just in case, and that is because this is the 4th bucket lid that we have tried out, as the other ones all broke within a couple of months of use. This one, however, has been a complete champ, and the padded cushion makes it more comfortable at all times and less cold in the winter. It also completely comes apart for cleaning, and this is definitely something that you are going to want to be cleaning on a regular basis. We will be leaving Amazon Associates links to all of these products that I have mentioned in the description below, so make sure to look down there if you want to check them out. Once the bucket is anywhere from half to 3/4 full, we fold the bag up over to the top of everything that is in there, and then the bucket is ready to be taken down to the composting bin I made so that it can be deposited with everything else that is already composting. If you have watched any of the property walkthrough videos, this pathway may be familiar. We initially made this trail to get into the lower section of the property as we were thinking about building a structure down here, but instead we decided to turn it into our Humanure composting area, at least for now. I initially didn't know what the smell from this was going to be like, so I didn't want to put it too close to our living areas, but the smell is honestly barely even noticeable, so it could have been closer. That is likely because we are not shy with using our covering media, as it will all eventually go back into becoming part of the compost, so it doesn't feel like a waste. This little structure is built out of 6 pallets and 2 tarps, and the top pallet is hinged from the back pallet and acts as a very solid lid. You can see the chunk of 2x4 that I used to hold the lid up to dump the buckets in, and we are going to take a peek inside here, and don't worry, it isn't super gross or anything. The lid doesn't seal in any way, as we want the bugs to be able to get in here and start helping things break down. You can see the bags and the media, and there really isn't anything gross in here, not even the smell. Again, we don't know how well these bags and wipes are going to break down, but you know that I am going to be talking about them again in another year to see how they do. Once the buckets are emptied, they get left down here to air out until the next bucket comes down, and that is because those biodegradable bags are not waterproof when used like this, but they will keep the solids from touching the plastic sides of the bucket. They only need to air out for a little while, and once they are cycled back up to the top, they won't have a smell at all. Once we have this entire Humanure composter filled up, we will cover the whole thing with a layer of soil, then close it up and check on it at the 6-month, 9-month, and year mark to see if it is broken down. We likely won't use any of it on food plants, but there are a lot of trees here that could really use some love, and it feels good to be reusing a waste product and turning it back into something that is actually useful. As I mentioned before, I will leave Amazon Associate links to all of the products that you have seen in this video in case you want to check them out for yourselves, and so far, they have all been well worth the money.